it's really easy to do something because you see what it looks like at the end. You know, you might see the top of the mountain, but if you don't want to take that walk up the mountain, you shouldn't do it, because there are challenges that come with small business, and times will get hard because there are peaks and valleys with it. But during those challenging times, if you're not truly in it, then it's going to make it really easy for you to throw in the white flag.
Positively West Virginia is powered by Breezeline high-speed fiber internet and sponsored by Highmark West Virginia, Freedom Key of Morgantown, Interaction Media, and Storymaker. With the help of these sponsors, we are able to share the positive business stories of West Virginians, including the one featured in today's episode.
Well, folks, we're visiting today with Christian and Karen Higgins. They're a mother and son duo and the owners of the Brownie House here in Morgantown. Christian, Karen, thanks for being on the podcast today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about the Brownie House. Ran into you, Karen and your husband a couple of weeks ago, and said, "Hey, we got to have you on the podcast." So I'm glad you're here to talk about your business and tell us a little bit about what you do. Christian, let's start with you. If you could just kind of give us an overview of the Brownie House and tell us a little bit about what you do there.
Yeah, so Brownie House is a gourmet brownie bakery. It's family owned and operated, and we are on a mission to bake the world's best brownies.
I love it, first of all.
But it's not just about the brownies. It's also about the experience that you get either when you walk into our brownie bakery or when you get a brownie gift box in the mail or for somebody who's given it to you. We're also a coffee shop. We're an ice cream shop. We're an e-commerce business that ships brownie gift boxes nationwide. And we're also a corporate gifts company that handles gifts for companies of any size, whether that be 3 brownie gift boxes or 200. We do it all.
I love it. Karen, from your perspective, you kind of started this whole idea. Give us the background and how Brownie House got started.
It was as they say, organic.
Okay.
I was just playing with my grandmother's brownie recipes.
Yeah.
And my mother and I were going through some old recipe books, and my grandmother always hand wrote out everything. And we saw this brownie recipe that literally said best ever brownies. And then she had a little comment in the corner that said very good. And it was in a section that was reserved for a bunch of recipes that she would make for the boys at the USO.
Oh.
So in the beginning of this section, it said, these recipes are well liked by the boys at the USO. So I thought, we've never made these. Let's make these. And we did, and they were absolutely amazing. So I continued making brownies in different ways. I was adding nuts, and I was just doing different things because they were so good.
Yeah.
I can't honestly say I even know why I became somewhat obsessed with making these brownies. It wasn't an intention to start a business. But a friend of mine had had one of the brownies and was planning a big birthday party for someone, and asked if I would do brownies for that party. It was a party of over 200 people. So I have no idea why I said yes, but I did. And for the next 4 days, I baked brownies and I wrapped brownies and I created packaging. And it was just a crazy week, but we did it, and it was a lot of fun. And I had my parents involved. I had my husband involved. I had friends. We were all hands on deck.
Love it, yeah.
From that party, other businesses and people who had been at the party started asking me if I would bake brownies for them.
Wow.
And that's when it dawned on me, this could be a thing. This could be a side hustle from just being a mom. And that's how that got started. I eventually had so much business, I had to have a commercial bakery. So my husband and I owned the big red brick Victorian house on Spruce Street.
Sure, yeah.
And he allowed me to use the kitchen area. So we converted it into a commercial kitchen.
Amazing.
And opened the doors and started taking catering orders and businesses came and said they wanted us to do brownies, and we outgrew that space.
Now, what time period would this have been?
This was 2005,
2005.
2006.
That's kind of like when you started the business.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So eventually, we had to make a decision whether I was going to stay there and just continue like I was, or if we were going to grow. And at the time, I had a 2-year-old, and I had my other kids in high school. I just decided this is enough. I'm gonna go back to nursing as a career and just raise my family. And this is just getting too crazy for me.
So what year was that then? That when
That
you decided
was
to like kind of put it on hiatus as it was.
Yeah, I fizzled it out slowly.
Okay.
And so I think I finally baked my last batch in like 2008.
Okay. So
2008,
several
yeah.
years you were at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then I just went back to nursing and continued my career in nursing. Retired from nursing and got a phone call from my son,
From Christian.
who offered up this opportunity to do the Brownie House.
Yeah. So Christian, pick up the story there. Give us your background. You're from Morgantown here. Your family went to Morgantown High School, went to WVU.
Yep.
Then where?
So while I was at WVU, I enlisted in the West Virginia National Guard, Army National Guard.
Love it. Yeah.
And I did Army ROTC at WVU at the same time. So I graduated from WVU. I commissioned as an officer into the active duty Army. So I moved around. I was in Georgia. I was in Texas. I was in Kuwait. Came back. That was 4 years total. And I was kind of at a point where I needed to make a decision about whether I was going to stay in the Army or whether I was going to do something else. I had always had law school kind of in the back of my mind as an option. Put that on the back burner for the Army, but again, it came back to me. So I got out of the Army. I went to Duquesne Law School in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
From Duquesne, I moved to Philadelphia and I started practicing as a lawyer. And it wasn't everything that I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And so I was there for less than a year at the law firm. And when I moved to Philly, I thought it was going to be, the next chapter for me. And I thought I was really going to settle into it and move forward in that direction. And I felt so much resistance to it. And it was kind of weird. And, I remember going to work in the mornings and just thinking, this can't be it for me. Yeah. There's some other purpose for me.
Yeah.
And my now fiance, she talked to me about other options, and I was like, "There's no other option. This has got to be it. What else am I going to do?" And she said, "What about Brownie House?" Because we had always talked about Brownie House,
were beckoning,
but as a joke, right? Every
gosh.
once in a while at the dinner table, we'd say, "Well, just open Brownie House or something,"
Yeah.
and
We'd pass a building that we thought would make a great Brownie House. And
Okay,
say,
great.
"Oh, we should put the Brownie House in there."
Oh my gosh.
So, and when my fiance mentioned that, I at first was like, no way, I'll never do that. And I don't know what changed, but I did consider it for maybe a week, and it started to seem like, oh, this is something we can do. And so I realized that if I'm going to do something like that, you just got to do it. You can't spend your whole life thinking about it because you might never do it.
Yeah.
So
That's powerful.
yeah. And I felt like, man, this really could be it. This could be something that I can build, that we can grow. It's going to be much more fulfilling than just the regular 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And that's super important for me. Yeah. So I finally just called my mom and I said, hey, this is going to be crazy, but what do you think about opening Brownie House? It was a Saturday morning. I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
I'm sure she won't either.
No, I won't forget it either.
And I think within 60 seconds, she said, yeah.
Wow. I love it.
It was really, that's
a great story.
Thanks, yeah.
And Christian, I also want to say, I didn't want to interrupt you, but thank you for your military service.
Oh, yeah.
Your service in the Army, that's just awesome.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
It's very much appreciated, for sure. Guys, I want to pick up that story when we come back. We're going to take a quick break to mention our sponsors for Positively West Virginia. We'll be right back.
Your prescriptions are designed to keep you healthy, active, full of life. At Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield, we're making vital medicine more affordable. Because when your prescriptions don't cost an arm and a leg, you can use those limbs for something more meaningful. Because life. Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield, West Virginia.
It's in the precision, the attention to detail, and the confidence that create a timeless look. Like Diamond Cuts Barbershop, Freedom Kia of Morgantown is not only committed to timeless design, but also fair pricing, excellent sales, and service with no hidden fees. You'll love the all-new 2024 Kia Sportage LX all-wheel drive leasing for just $265 per month, wherever it is you're going. Arrive with confidence and arrive in style. Visit Freedom Kia today, right off exit 153 on I-79 in Morgantown.
Folks, we're back. We're visiting today with Christian and Karen Higgins, mother and son duo from Morgantown, and they own Brownie House, and they make the world's best brownies. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if that's your tagline, but guys, I want to really talk a little bit about the brownies, right? That's what you're known for. Karen, tell us a little bit more about these. Like, what are you known for? What are the best sellers, for instance?
Our best seller by far is just the original.
Yeah.
It's all chocolate, it's fudgy, it's a little bit cakey, it's thick, it's very rich, it's very shareable, and it's very satisfying as a chocolate treat.
Yeah.
We use just the best ingredients. We use imported cocoa powder. We use fresh eggs, Domino sugar.
Okay.
And we don't use any preservatives. Nothing's artificial. We use real vanilla. Everything is just like you would make it if you were making really good brownies in your kitchen. That is the way we make our brownies.
Yeah.
And I'd like to stay that way. We're true to that. It's important to us. I don't like flipping over any kind of baked good and looking at the ingredients and seeing there's a list of 20 ingredients.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that with Brownie House
Yeah.
brownies.
The simple is better, especially with baking.
Yes.
Yeah. I love it.
We're very chocolatey. You can actually taste the chocolate. It's not just sweet.
Well, Christian, when you made the call to your mom on that Saturday and said, "Hey, what about opening Brownie House up and starting that back up?" That was back in what year? 2022?
That was late January of 2022.
Yeah. And so you guys opened in May.
We opened in May.
Where did you end up finding a place to put this bakery?
We found a space in the Seneca Center in Morgantown, which is an old
historic Seneca.
the historic Seneca Center, which is the old Seneca glass factory now converted into a really cool retail shopping center. We found this space that was kind of tucked away on the lower level. It's against the rail trail in Morgantown, which is a biking trail. Yeah. And big glass windows, brick wall, so unique. Kind of off the beaten path. But when we found this, we both walked in there and thought, oh my gosh, this is it. This is so unique.
I really wanted a place to put a commercial kitchen that was going to be large enough for us to grow. That we would have some space, that we would have some freedom to move things around and get things situated the way I wanted them. I wanted all the things that I had wished for in the first Brownie House, which was tiny, so kind of knew what I wanted. And this is what we got in the Seneca Center. It's really like a warehouse. High ceilings, industrial windows, brick walls, like Christian said. It has a unique feel to it. You can see us baking and finishing brownies and cutting and wrapping if you're sitting there in our retail area.
Love it, yeah.
It's not uncommon for our bakers and our finishers to be chatting with our customers. Everyone that works for us knows all about our brownies. You can ask anybody anything.
It's a true destination, really. Folks come there not just to get the brownies, but to have an experience. Kind of like what Christian said. Yeah. So that's awesome. Well, how's it going? You guys have been at it almost 2 years now, coming up on your second anniversary. How's it going? I'll ask both of you guys.
I don't know. You want to start?
I mean, it is going well. We are growing steadily. We are getting better and better at growing, which means every time we have more and more brownies to bake, there's a little learning curve. Sure. And I'm so proud of our team as we just continue to learn how to produce more, to produce it better. There are two little tweaks that we make all the time with the goal of making the best brownie in the world.
Yeah.
And it's
So do you
great.
consider it a bakery, or is it more of like food manufacturing? How do you guys view that?
That's an interesting question.
Yeah.
It's a bakery. We do bake some other things, which are much smaller quantities. We bake cookies. We bake millionaire shortbread. We have specialty items that we come up with, more or less because it's something that one of our team members says, hey, let's make this. And if we have some time, I'll tell them, go ahead, give it a
Yeah,
try.
give it a shot,
And,
yeah.
so it's
Experiment a
fun.
little
We
bit,
keep, so that's the bakery part of it.
Yeah.
Then when we get into our corporate gifts, when we get into Christmas, when we get into larger orders, then it does become somewhat of a manufacturing facility. We have systems that we immediately jump into so that we can come out with as many, fresh, beautiful brownies as we need in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting to watch our team flex between baking a very small batch of something unique and then flexing into, hey, we need 500 brownies by the day after tomorrow.
Yeah.
And
That's amazing. Well, the reason I asked that question is I have a friend who has a, just across the border over in Garrett County, Maryland, has a cheese factory. And they buy all the Amish milk over there in Garrett County and create cheese. And he views it as he's a manufacturer, because he's creating this product and he's shipping it like you guys do. And I never really thought of food manufacturing, but I guess that's what it is to a certain degree. So Christian, from your perspective, let me ask you, do you have employees then that are at the Brownie House?
We now have 11 employees.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
and most of them have been on the team for well over a year at this point. I think we've had as many as 15 or 16 on the payroll at a time.
Yeah, that's fantastic. What would be your 30-second pitch for Brownie House?
Well, Brownie House bakes the best brownies in the world. It's, like I said, it's the experience that you get. It's not just about the product. It's about buying brownies that are baked in a family bakery by a tight-knit team and, knowing that they're baked with quality and with care. It's about the personalized customer service that you get when you go into our storefront or when you reach out to us through our e-commerce page. It's more than, just a business or just a food product. This is our lives. This is something that we've invested in, and has really become a part of us. And
You're all in.
We're all in. Yeah, we're all in.
yes, we are.
That's great. That's great. I love your guys' story. Brownie House, Morgantown, West Virginia. Folks, we're going to take a quick break to mention our sponsors for Positively West Virginia. We'll be right back.
My name's Caitlin Furby. I'm an interior designer with Remarkable Interiors. Our time is very limited. We're trying to do everything we can possible to keep our clients' projects moving and rolling. So Storymaker has been really great for us for putting out how to explain our company. I can sit and agonize about a post. And is this right? Does this sound good? When I use Storymaker, it sounds so beautiful and it was so easy and it saves me a lot of time to do the things that I'm really good at.
Stay connected with an unbeatable deal from Breezeline. Get reliable, fiber-powered 500 megabits internet for $39.99 per month with a $100 gift card and price lock guarantee, plus a free modem, free installation, and free Wi-Fi your way. Folks, here at Interaction Media, we're a media company, and we rely on high-speed internet every single day to get our jobs done. That's why we use Breezeline. It's affordable, it's fast, and they're awesome people as well. Learn more at breezeline.com. Folks, we're back. We're talking with Christian and Karen Higgins. They are the owners and mother and son duo of the Brownie House in Morgantown, Seneca Center. Guys, Karen, what would you say is the thing you're most excited about right now for Brownie House?
There are a lot of things. I was just trying to pick one. We are very excited about growing and possibly opening another site, another shop, and what that will look like. It most likely will not be the bakery part. it will just be a retail part. We now offer coffee and we have a drink menu. I think it's exciting to put that together with the brownies and the other baked goods that we have into a nice place to go and have a treat, buy a gift, enjoy a nice coffee, things like that. So I am excited about the creative aspect of that. You know, we get to have a new vision and make it happen in a new space and make it more accessible, because we are in an area that is a little bit difficult to get to. When you say destination, it surely is. You need to pull into the Seneca Center and go downstairs. You got to go there on purpose.
And you get a lot of people coming there.
Oh, we do. Yeah. We do.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, because as you're talking and describing it, one of West Virginia's largest industry is tourism. And I know anytime my wife and I travel around the state of West Virginia, one of our favorite things to do is find a good coffee shop and have a little treat, a sweet treat, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of, maybe
we get a lot of tourists, honestly.
Well, this is a big tourist area, Morgantown, north central West Virginia. People don't realize it, but there's all sorts of things to do here. But you have a lot of travel sports teams and lots of people coming for the destination.
And they hit us up.
That's very wise.
Visit Mountaineer Country has been great for us. We're partnered with them. And I think a lot of people who do visit Morgantown go to their site to look for local businesses to stop by.
Yeah. Of course, that's the local Convention and Visitors Bureau here in north central West Virginia, Morgantown, primarily, but several counties. So in terms of the vision, Karen, you mentioned growth. Christian, what do you see as the vision for Brownie House long term?
We are primarily focused on opening up storefronts in strategic locations. Right now, we're still tightening up our shot group on the storefront operations, which basically means making sure that our systems are streamlined, making sure that our business, we can replicate it. And
that's great.
When we get to that point, before we get to that point, we're going to be looking at new locations to see what we can do with that. But, I'm excited about that, not only because, you can have a business that is visibly expanding, but it's also, it's a challenge, but it's great to build a team with every storefront, which we've done.
I love it.
And we focus on leadership at Brownie House within our team. And so being able to bring in a small team and pay them, most of our employees right now are WVU students. We're getting them sometimes 20 to 30 hours every week or two.
That's great.
So we're literally putting some kids through school. They're they don't have to work anywhere else, and being able to do that is great. So if we can continue to do that and build this little team, and then also a space where the local community can come and enjoy like a family space that has a great experience. Kids can say, "Oh yeah, I love going to Brownie House." I remember,
I love it.
10 years ago I was growing up, we'd go to Brownie House. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, that's a great vision. I appreciate that. Now, does some of that leadership come from your military background, Christian?
Yeah,
you feel
it does. And I compare and contrast my leadership experiences between the Army and the small team leadership in the retail food service. And sometimes I think the leadership challenge is more difficult doing what I'm doing now than it was as a leader in the Army. It's so different. Managing part-time team members, being short on resources. Karen and I have to do it all. So we try to divvy out the task as best we can. We try to make sure that, admin issues are handled, but it's a great challenge. It's rewarding when it all comes together. But,
The great leadership guru, John C. Maxwell, says everything rises and falls on leadership.
Yes.
And that's certainly true in business. Karen, from your perspective, what would you say is one of the most important traits of a good quality business leader today?
I think, for lack of a better term, being able to pivot smoothly and convey confidence and assure your team that things are going to be great, that this is a good change if you are pivoting. So pivoting, I think, being able to do that, I know it's a popular word, but it is for a reason.
For sure.
Also, having a sense of calm and just, I think, giving confidence to the people that are looking to you for leadership. And that can be difficult in a very stressful environment. Most of our employees, I think it's maybe their first job or their first real job. They've cut grass, they've babysat, they've done all that stuff, but this is their first real job. So, in one way, they're complete open books, and we get to write in that book.
Yeah.
That's also a huge responsibility for
Sure
us.
is, yeah.
So we are trying to work with teaching everyone to get along, to work together, the difference between, being emotional and being professional. There are a lot of different aspects to working with a team, keeping it going, and continuing to be helpful to them and have them be helpful to us as well.
Plus, they get to work in an environment that always smells
It
delicious.
smells good.
That's a bonus.
And we do
That's
have
great.
a lot of fun. I don't want to make it sound
that's-
like
no,
we're
it's-
all leadership,
No,
but
it's awesome. I definitely appreciate that. Christian, from your perspective, what would be a piece of advice you would give to somebody thinking about starting a business, somebody who even maybe considering getting out of their law career and starting a bakery, what would be a piece of advice you would give them?
Do your homework. Make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons. It's really easy to do something because you see what it looks like at the end. You might see the top of the mountain, but if you don't want to take that walk up the mountain, you shouldn't do it, because there are challenges that come with small business, and times will get hard because there are peaks and valleys with it. But during those challenging times, if you're not truly in it, then it's going to make it really easy for you to throw in the white flag. And you don't want to be in that position. And being a small business owner it's not a 9 to 5. Most businesses, you're working 7 days a week. So you gotta be ready for that. And you gotta really be committed to it. So,
Amazing.
it's easy to talk yourself out of it too. It's
Yeah.
really easy. So if
Like
there's
you
something,
said, though, I liked what you said earlier, do it, because if you think about it, you may not come back to it.
just start.
Yeah, just start.
Just
Yeah. I
start.
love it.
take
I love
steps.
it.
Yeah.
Karen, how can folks learn more about Brownie House?
Well, you can go to our website, which is yesbrownies.com.
Yes.
And our story is on there. Our brownies are on there. All the corporate
Folks can
gift
order them from anywhere in the
information.
country.
Anywhere. Yep.
Anywhere.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll make sure we have a link to that website. You guys on social media as well?
Yes.
Yes.
We'll put those links on there as well
Great.
on the show notes, and when we tag you guys in our social media posts for that. Christian and Karen Higgins, the mother and son duo. I'm calling you a duo because I love the fact that you guys are in business together. The owners of Brownie House in Morgantown. It's been a real honor to have you on the podcast. I think what
you.
you're doing is amazing, and I really think it's cool that, Mom, you've got Christian working there right alongside with
Oh.
you guys are the owners, and you're
Yeah.
building something amazing right here in West Virginia. So my hat's off to you, and I just love what you're doing. I want to encourage you to keep up the great work.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much.
No, thank you guys for
Really
being here. I
appreciate
really
that.
enjoyed sharing your story.
We'd like to thank our partners, Highmark West Virginia, Freedom Key of Morgantown, Interaction Media, Storymaker, and our studio sponsor, Breezeline, for helping to share these positive stories. If you'd like to become a sponsor of the Positively West Virginia podcast, visit positivelywv.com/sponsor.
Folks, that's it for another episode of Positively West Virginia. If you or someone you know would be a great guest on the show, drop us a line on our website at positivelywv.com. And of course, we appreciate your encouragement, your reviews, and sharing this on social media to help get the message out, not only about Positively West Virginia, but our guests like Brownie House here today. If I guess from our perspective, on behalf of our entire Positively West Virginia team, including our producer today, Mr. Justin Schofield behind the controls, I'm your host, Jim Matuga. Stay positive, West Virginia.